video, I'm going to show you step by step how I gave a new life to this chair. If you're new to my channel, I'm Uri. Let's move forward. I'm going to show you step by step, giving you everything I did to transform this chair and to show you how you can also do the same. These are the materials you're going to be needing. You also need the fabric for the chair. The first thing I did, I wet the brush. This is a chalk paint and it's very thick, so you need to wet the brush before you start applying the paint. Another idea is to spray paint the surface as you go along. And for the little spaces and the details, I'm using the small brush also. As you can see, it is better and easier to apply this way. As you go along, you add a little bit more water for the consistency to flow a little bit better. I moved the chair to the garage. I thought it was better to work here with more light. This is the second day. I'm applying a second coat of paint. Sure that I'm covering and it looks good all the way. I'm applying a little bit more of a paint on the more important places. And now I'm going to spray paint using this clear glaze to protect all over. I used the painter's tape to protect the fabric. Even though I'm going to cover it, I don't want it to be soaking wet with the spray. Now it's time to upholstery. This, I think, it was the hardest part of refreshing this chair. As you can see, I already applied, or I should say I spread out the fabric to make sure that I am going to use the part of the fabric that I want to show. And now what I'm doing is I'm pulling through the fabric using this screwdriver as a tool to insert the fabric through the openings. Now I'm cutting the fabric to be able to pull it through the divisions of the chair. As you can see, I needed to do it in parts. And voila! It was a little bit complicated, but it was very doable. Just have to take your time to do this process. I'm doing the same thing for the front. As the chair, it's attached in those parts, so you can make sure that you're dividing the fabric at the right space or sections, cutting it through. And then just making sure that before you cut the excess, that you're covering all the chair around, like I'm doing now. Doing the same process here on the other side. And now that I have it all together and I know that everything fits nicely, I'm going to start stapling it to the chair frame. This was completely out of my comfort zone. My friend Margarita put me up to the challenge and I accepted the challenge. I think she's gonna be very pleased with the results. Now for the corners, a little tricky, but I'm following the same way that the previous upholstery was done, which is folding the fabric on the corners like you're seeing me doing it now, and pulling it and then stapling it together. So the key is to fold the fabric as you go around, especially on the corners. After I finished stapling the fabric to the frame of the chair, I'm going to cut the excess of the fabric and then glue it to the frame. And after that, I'm going to cover the imperfection with a decorative trim. I'm going to do the same thing on the corner, folding the fabric. And now that I already cut the excess of the fabric and glue it to the frame, I am ready to add the decorative trim. I'm using Gorilla Glue for this project. It is the best one. It is very strong. I really recommend it. It takes a little longer to dry, but all you need to do is hold it a little longer in place. But I guarantee you it is going to stay. It is very strong. Now I'm adding the trim all around the chair to cover the imperfections, right? I am using this macrame cotton cord, but I decided to make it thicker. So the way I made it thicker is by stitching it together with my crochet needle. You don't have to use this kind of trim. You can always buy it at the store. They have thicker trim that will probably cover the imperfections very well. I'm finishing it off, adding a lot of glue on the end before I cut the excess. I'm getting ready to add also the trim on the side, making chains using my crochet needle. I'm going to also use Gorilla Glue all around. It is the best. And as I mentioned before, I decided to do this with a crochet needle, but you can also buy it at the store. You can buy the trim at the store. They sell different kinds that will be able to also cover the staples and all the imperfections. Notice I'm skipping the part where the legs go. And that's it. I think it turned out so beautiful. I really enjoyed this project. I'm very glad that I took the challenge, and here it is at my friend Margarita's house. She was very pleased. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.